Hi guys, we are back with Zoom and a Brew on Badass Mother Runners. And this time I'm very excited that we're going to be talking to Julie from Secret Whispers, and we are going to be talking all things pelvic floor because we all know that that's important. And I don't know about you, but I really need to have this chat. So, Julie, do you want to give us a little bit of an intro as to what is Secret Whispers?
Oh, thank you very much, Beth, for having me. So, Secret Whispers was born in 2018 after I read an article that said, regardless of how amazing you may think your pelvic floor is, the likelihood of an issue goes up by 50% with the onset of perimenopause. And I was turning 40 the following year. And I remember thinking, there's no way this is happening to me, because I've been doing my Kegels since I was 14. And I just assumed every woman did. So I knew that I needed some sort of a weight, because obviously getting older as well, you need more weight resistance. So I researched, I looked, I bought lots of different products. I couldn't find anything that I liked. So I decided to design my own. And just before that as well, I used to go into the school playground and I would say to the other mums, how's your pelvic floor? Are you doing your Kegels? And initially they would go, oh my God, that crazy Irish woman. And they'd walk away from me. But then after a while, they would start coming up to me going, what's Kegels? What's a pelvic floor? But Julie, it's normal to look after having children. And I kept hearing the same things. And I was like, no, this can't be happening. And then more progressed, I had women coming up going, thank you for opening up this topic. Thank you for talking about this. I don't feel like I'm on my own. You know, there's other women suffering as well. So 6 months later, Secret Whispers arrived. And she's gorgeous. And it took so much work. You know yourself, the amount of work it takes finding the correct manufacturers who you can work with, designers, all the rest of it. And I launched in July 2018. And I didn't expect the response.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. And just to be talking about this topic and breaking down this taboo is just so important to so many different women. So this is it, Secret Whispers Kegel Kit, and I will show it to you. So inside, it's very elegant and discreet. This magnetic box. Like
very
that.
nice.
All the information's on the back. And you just open it, and inside you will find a little white pouch with your instructions inside. And then these are your little weights.
Okay.
Now they are small because I've got little hands, but they can look bigger sometimes. But really, that's it. And it's made of medically graded silicone, so they are really soft. And the little weights just pop in and out like that. So you start off on the 40 gram, which is these two. Then every 2 weeks, you change the weight combination, so it's a gradual and safe process. You start at 40, you finish at 90, and when you get to that stage, ladies, you've got an amazing pelvic floor. And all you do is a little bit of water or a little bit of lube, water-based lube only. Pop them up as you would a tampon. And the beauty of these is gravity wants them to slip down, so then your correct pelvic floor muscles engage to hold them in. And that is really important because 50% of women, even when they're told how to do a Kegel exercise, will do them incorrectly. So this tells you where your pelvic floor muscles are. And if you just think about them, just like a dumbbell for the pelvic floor.
It's totally true, because you sent me a pack. I was like, oh, I'm so excited. And I've got to be honest, I remember being told to do my pelvic floor. I think I was told that when I was pregnant, and I was like, I'm 25, yeah, I'll worry about that, whatever. And I'd be like, I can't feel anything, like, I don't even know what I'm doing. So when I tried the Secret Whispers weights, I was like, oh, that's what that feels like. Oh, okay, I get it. I finally know what that muscle feels like.
So that's it, it's just so simple. Just you use a dumbbell to work out your arm muscle. It's just the same concept. So it's 15 minutes a day. The easiest way to do it, pop them in the morning while you're going around, tidying up, making breakfast, and you just do the slow and fast Kegel exercises that are explained in the instructions. And then you get a 28-page ebook, an exercise plan, an accountability diary, everything you need. And then the customer service, and of course I'm going to say it, but it is true, it's 100%. They are number one, absolutely brilliant. Because we don't want you just buying these and going, oh, they look really pretty, I'll just leave them by the bed. That's not how it works.
My husband was like, what's that? Kegel weights. Oh, go.
I wonder.
Have a look at the book.
So I'll sit 50 minutes a day, follow the program, and then after 12 weeks, when you've got an amazing pelvic floor, and you now know how to do your Kegels correctly, you just do your Kegels twice a day when you're brushing your teeth, and then you wear your weights 2-3 times a week, just like going to the gym for your pelvic floor.
So clever.
I know, I love it.
It's like, I can't believe everybody's not doing this anyway. Like, I can't believe this wasn't a thing before you made it a thing. Like, it just makes so much sense.
Well, I'll tell you something that'll blow your mind. This is what really got me going as well about getting the education to high schools. I read an article that wasn't an article, it was actually I don't even know if a survey is the right word, but they interviewed young women, between 18 and 21 who were very athletic and asked them how many had bladder leakage issues in high school. How many do you think admitted it?
None.
40%.
Really?
It's massive. And I've spoke to high schools, I've spoke to universities, and they've said, yes, we know this is an issue, but we've no money to do anything about it. So a few months ago, the NIC have come out saying they are now in consultation about bringing pelvic floor education into high schools for girls from the age of 11. Boom, boom.
That's
so happy.
Really, really good. But again, I mean, I've got a 10-year-old and a 14-year-old, and it's one of those things, like, in the grand scheme of things that I talk to them about, honestly don't think I've ever spoken to them about pelvic floor, which I will now. That's good on my list of things. My 14-year-old was like, okay. Yeah, I mean, that really surprises me that that's such a young age. I mean, I think, being the age that I am and being very involved now with the running community, and I think most of the women in sort of badass mother runners are sort of like, more mature, sort of older mums, and it just seems to be the common, I'm a runner and therefore I will leak when I run, or I mean, I cross my legs when I sneeze, and that just seems to be accepted. We all just seem to be like, oh yeah, well, after you've had kids, your pelvic floor shot. And we often have discussion in the group about leakage and what to do on a run, and the general consensus is, oh well, just wear a pad, or just, there's nothing you can do about it. And it's like, well, how has that become the normal conversation when there clearly is something you can do about it? And
well, this is why I'm so passionate about it, because certain pad company, I don't mention the name, their propaganda ads portray bladder leaks as normal and even expected after childbirth.
Yeah.
So that is why women think it's normal. Nobody's told them any difference.
Yeah.
And even today, I still have women coming saying, nobody told me about this. I gave birth 10 weeks ago, for example. Nobody told me I need to do this.
Yeah.
I had one lady in her early 20s who was 16 weeks pregnant, in an awful state, convinced she was giving birth early. She didn't even know what a prolapse was. She thought that was the baby coming out. It's not acceptable in this day and age that you're not educated what a pelvic floor is, why it's so important, what prolapses are, and how to do Kegels. It's just education.
I mean, I don't know if maybe it's just personal experience, but it seems to be, obviously, when you have a baby, you're seen by the midwife, and you're seen by the health, baby's seen by the midwife, baby's seen by the health visitor. But I don't really remember anybody checking me over, or making sure that I was all okay. I mean, you you've just given birth and your body's been through something pretty damn significant, you know, it's gonna have had an impact. But it's just like mums just seem to be like, oh, well, you're right now. Nobody seems to sort of check that things are okay, and if they're not okay, then can something be done to help? So it's good
This
conversations are happening.
Yeah, this is it. If you start educating from the age of 11, obviously the education has to be age appropriate. What you teach an 11-year-old to 14 to 16, etc. But it's just explained to me, so I'll show you this model, a lovely pelvic floor.
Oh, it's lovely.
So isn't it just
beautiful?
It goes everywhere. Me and my pelvic floor.
Oh, the coffee table in the house.
So we just explain it simply. That's your pelvic floor. It's like a hammock. It has to hold up all your organs, your bladder, your bowel, and your uterus. And what happens is, if this isn't strong, your organs start to drop down a little bit.
Wow.
And that's called a prolapse. And there's 4 different degrees of prolapse. When you get to number 3, it's actually sitting inside your vagina. Number 4, it's hanging outside your vagina.
Wow.
And we need to be educating young girls that this is what it is. This is why it's so important. And this is why you need to do your Kegel exercises. And this is how you do it. So to explain to somebody, because obviously this is for women 18 and over, but to explain to somebody how to do a Kegel exercise without any weights, you would just say, imagine holding in wind and weight at the same time, pull up and in. You want to hold that for up to 10 seconds, then relax it for 10 seconds, then repeat 10 times.
Yeah.
And the other one as well would be when you're running, to explain the impact it has on your pelvic floor and about how you look after it while you're running. The same with gymnastics. And again, I would say to any of the ladies in your group is do your Kegels before you run,
right?
And do them after you run.
Okay.
And if you are somebody that has an oops moment when they laugh or cough or sneeze, instead of crossing your legs, there's something known as the neck.
Okay.
And that's really simple. It's really simple. It's just the fast Kegel. So there's 2 Kegels, the slow, which we've just done. And then the fast one is when you pull up and in, quick, and release quick. Up, down, just really quick ones you're doing.
Okay.
And that's the ones that help with bladder leaks. And as soon as you go to cough or sneeze, you want to pull in and up and hold that. So basically you're contracting your pelvic floor, and it's 98% effective.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah. But again, that is helping there, but you still need to exercise your pelvic floor. And the other big one is I've had so many women. I didn't leak, Julie. I thought my pelvic floor was fine. And I bent over to lift a heavy box or a grandchild or a child or whatever. And next thing they felt prolapse come down.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely frightening, especially if you thought there's nothing wrong. So just because you're not leaking doesn't mean you're fine.
I think it's one of those things, isn't it? We all think I'm too young, or I don't have to worry about that. I mean, I'm 40 in January, and I'm still like, I don't really feel like a grown up, and pelvic floor. I'm sure I can worry about that in like 20 years, but no, I need to sort myself out and work on it now. I should have been working on it for 20 years.
Prevention before cure, that's it. It's really that simple. And the other thing is as well, it's really important that women understand this, that surgery is always your very, very, very last option. And I know women who've been told that they would have surgery first option and they didn't know to question it.
Right.
And they've been left worse. I know women who were told that their only option was surgery and are now leak-free and prolapse has improved. So please always do what you can before surgery. It's never a quick fix.
Yeah. Goodness, that is quite scary.
And men need to be doing their Kegels.
Oh. Okay. This is new information.
So when I'm at any exhibitions, the women will come over, and I love to see their partners with them, because if they've got issues, bladder leaks, prolapse, it affects their mental well-being.
Yeah.
It really has a massive impact, and that affects their partners. And we'll be talking, I'll explain how the Kegel kit works, etc. And then I'll always say to the men, how's your pelvic floor? Every single one of them, what do you mean? I am going. You do.
You're talking to me?
Pelvic floor. And then they'd say, but what do I need to worry about it? So men need a strong pelvic floor, otherwise they get dribbles.
Right.
Erectile dysfunction.
Oh, okay.
And as soon as I mention that to them, they're literally on their knees begging to be told how to do Kegel exercises. So it's really, really important as well for men to do it.
Wow. Again, that is totally new information that I did not know till today. And I'm sure everyone watching this video is going to be like calling their husbands over, like, have you heard this? Have you heard this? So,
When you're sitting watching a movie, when you're watching a movie with a partner, you can just sit there together and go, you're doing yours, doing yours. I'm at number 9. Make it fun.
Definitely. We'll have a little competition, so you can do both. We put to our lovely Facebook group and our Instagram, we told them we were going to have this little chat, and we thought we'd ask them if they have any questions for you. So we're going to have a bit of a Q&A, if that's okay. So we've already covered what exactly is a pelvic floor and what does it do, which, again, I think a lot of people don't really get it. We all know it's something that is there, but now I know exactly what it is. So it's very, very helpful. Yeah. And we've also discussed, obviously, the risks of not doing Kegel exercising and what that can potentially lead to, which is very important. And obviously I'm going to be doing mine every day from now on, religiously. I'm like ringing you, guess what I'm doing.
Good.
Okay. So like you say, women have been told that leakage after children is normal. How has this sort of come about that the common conception is that just, yeah, that's how it is? And, you know, what do you think we can kind of do about that?
There's a few factors in this. Obviously, the certain pad company. The other one is that as women and as mothers, we put ourselves to the last of the queue all the time regarding everything.
Yeah.
There's no education about it. It's felt like a taboo subject. It really breaks my heart, because I know the statistics say 50%, but I know from what I've been doing, I'm talking at least 65% of women with issues. And what happens is that they give up running, exercise. They give up sexual relationships, even socializing. And then that's the whole mental impact that has as well. And it's just so heartbreaking. And the amount of women I hear all the time going, I had no idea I could do something about this. I thought this was made for life.
Yeah.
And then when I'm not joking, I do a dance, my husband laughs. Every time I get an email from somebody that says, you've changed my life, I'm literally doing this little dance around the living room, because I know what it's like. I've had women in their 50s, 60s thinking, you know, this was them for life. I had one lady a while ago saying, I think she was late 50s, and she said, I cannot thank you enough. I never thought I'd be leak free. And my husband wants to say thank you too.
Amazing. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Right, next question. Bear with me a second.
Oh, is that one of the little ones, is it?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm just sending it back to the house.
No.
Charlotte, I'm on a call.
Oh, can I just stay here?
Go.
Oh, someone's in.
I'm recording a video. Joys of motherhood and running a business, everybody.
Is this the 14-year-old?
No, this is the 11-year-old. How old are you? 10.
10-year-old.
Right, she's gone back to the house now. This is probably just I need snacks.
No.
Right. Run a business from home, everyone. It's such a good idea.
Oh, I know.
Mine
Mine are waiting to barge in as well, but
I
if they
know.
barge in, they barge in.
I know my dog's asleep as well somewhere, so you'll probably hear her snoring in a minute. Okay, so we've already sort of established that once people have experienced leaking, it's not too late to do something about it. Is there ever a point where it is too late, or is there always kind of like something that can be done to help things?
So I always say that every woman, regardless of having an issue or not, should see a pelvic floor physio at least once a year. We have no qualms.
I don't know
about seeing
anyone who does that.
Oh, I reach out to me. I know so many, many of them recommend Secret Whispers as well. But we don't think twice about going to the dentist.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who goes to see a pelvic. I've never been, ever.
Well, yeah, it's so important because this is really good for runners actually, and sports people, is your pelvic floor is your core.
Yeah.
It is so important. And if it's not strong, you have back pain, hip pain, knee pains. And the amount of women that say once their pelvic floor is stronger, those things have went away.
Wow.
But yes, if anybody needs one, just reach out to me and I can put them in the right direction. But yes, if leakage happens, and again, don't wait for leakage to happen before you start looking after your pelvic floor. Go see a pelvic floor physio first and foremost. Never sit and try and guess, and don't be using Dr. Google. That never helps anybody. And just get doing your Kegels. And the only time it ever cannot be fixed would be if there was nerve damage.
Right.
If there was nerve damage, and again, you need a pelvic floor physio to see to that. And then there are some women who have got a tight pelvic floor. And again, only a pelvic floor physio can tell you that. And that means that instead of doing the Kegels, you need to be doing like reverse Kegels to sort of relax those muscles back out. But that's in a smaller minority of people.
Is a pelvic floor physio something that people can access on the NHS, or
this is so frustrating. So in France, they have an amazing postpartum care. After women give birth, they have 12 weeks of pelvic floor physio. They are amazing. They are on it.
Wow.
Here private. Obviously, you've got that option. NHS, I've heard of women waiting months and months.
Yeah.
It's just not good enough.
It just seems like you say, if we're expected to go to a dentist and we're expected to have smear tests and we're expected to do all of those things, why are women not seeing a pelvic floor, a women's physio? Surely that would prevent so many future problems. And
if you
really common sense.
Yeah, the NHS numbers that they spend on fixing prolapses is massive. And it does always ask the question, why is the education not being given? Why are women not being told this?
Yeah.
We came across a thing last year where it's showing that in Japan, they're actually now producing more diapers for adults than for children, and the UK is following trend. And the biggest, what's the word to put it? The biggest, the biggest thing in old people's homes and elderly people falling and breaking hips is running to get to the toilet, and most times not making it.
Yeah, but that makes total sense. Total sense.
So there's so many important reasons here.
I know. I'm making a list of things. I'm like, fine. I'm going to do my Kegels every day. Pelvic floor.
And it's just 15 minutes. And once you get into the habit, it's like anything. And you'll thank me for it in years to come.
Okay. Next question. Can they fall out? And what if that happens in the middle of Asda? Have you got to go scavenging around the aisles looking for your weights and your balls and stuff?
Oh, that's funny. Yes, and we actually have it on our instruction sheet that they do fall right back out. Do not panic.
Okay.
Because I've had women again. Yeah, don't wear them to Asda. No, start off at home.
Right.
Keep it at home.
In the comfort of your own home.
I actually had a lady who lost hers down the bath plug, and to this day I have no idea how they went down the bath plug.
Wow.
Anyway, that just transgressing there. So if you pop them in and they do fall out, and it does happen, it's happened with women who were convinced they had no issues, no problems, no leakage, and were horrified they fell out. But it simply means your pelvic floor muscles aren't strong enough. So don't panic. Pop them in, lie on your back, and do the exercises until you get strength. And they work just as well lying on your back. Obviously, walking around challenges it more, but they work as well on your back because we've got physios who use them on ladies with limited mobility.
Okay.
And it works with them. So don't panic, don't faint, don't run around worried, frightened. Just pop them back in, lie on your back, do the exercise.
It makes sense because obviously if they do fall out, your body's not holding them tightly enough, and therefore all the more reason you need to use them.
Yeah, well, the best thing I would describe it is, if you walked around for, say, even a week and you didn't use one of your arms, and then you went to lift something, can you imagine what that would be like? The same if your pelvic floor hasn't been exercised.
Wow. Okay, so obviously we've discussed about Kegels and how it can help with bladder leakage. Does it help with other things?
Other things? Oh, you mean sex?
Not in the bedroom? In the boudoir? We're going to ask this question. Let's talk about sex.
Yes, because if you've got a good pelvic floor, you've got better blood flow there as well, so your orgasms will be better. A tighter pelvic floor.
I hope that's on your merchandising. That should be right on the
sex, follow me. Well, I
got your orgasms here, people.
I always forget to talk about that, but I was at a group a few weeks ago, and there's 25 women at it. It was only a little small group, and I was one of the speakers, and I was talking about the benefits, and then this lady, she's early 30s, and she's well known, put it that way. She's got a massive following. Okay. And she said, she goes, "Well, I have better sex." I went, "Oh yeah, better sex, better orgasms." She went, "You need to lead with that all the time."
The whole room was like, "What?"
Honestly, it was. I was like, "What was that?"
Mia's just like, "What?"
So yes, I need to start mentioning more about the sex side of it. Yeah, better sex.
Okay. That is, I think, go with that.
Yeah.
Good to know. I will be sharing this with the group.
Good.
No more leaking while you run in, better orgasms.
Yes. What more do you want?
What's not to love? Another question we had from one of our community was to do with obviously going to the bathroom and everything, and with your bladder sometimes doesn't feel like it's fully empty. Will working your pelvic floor kind of like help with that?
Yes, it definitely will. So there's a few tricks for this as well. Another massive tip I'll give you all sounded American there, y'all. Toilet habits. You need to teach this to your children from the moment they get off the potty. It's so important. We are not designed to sit on a toilet. Our rectum kinks. We are not designed. So when you need to go to the toilet, you put your feet on a stool. So I have a stool in each bathroom, just one of those cheap IKEA fold-up ones.
Yeah.
Put up beside. My sons know anytime they go for a poo, they use the stool. Feet on it.
Okay.
And that means that your bowel and everything's in the correct position. We have so many people who suffer with IBS, constipation, and that's a massive factor for prolapse. Massive.
Right.
And they've found that it's so much better doing this. So that's a great habit to get into. If your bladder isn't emptying well, what we do suggest is that you stand up, give a wiggle, sit down, and rock back and forwards.
Right, okay.
Sometimes it can just be bad habits. But again, yes, pelvic floor, a good pelvic floor will always help with that. But there are little tips and tricks that you can do as well to help with that. And
brilliant.
Don't strain and don't push. And I tell my children this, never do that, because the pressure that you put is so immense.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So I guess the last question. So you've sold me on the no more leaking while I'm running. I'm sold
Yeah.
on the boudoir. And I'm sure a lot of people are watching this going, yeah, but I bet they're really expensive. They're not, are they?
No, they are not. And I need to point out something else about the leak-free run. You probably remember this. Was it last year? Rachel Horn, the news and weather presenter on the Chris Evans show.
Yeah.
She announced live on air how she had her first dry run and was using Secret Whispers.
I think it's the point when you get to the point, you'll shout it from everywhere, but nobody wants to say, "Ooh, leaking a bit when I'm running." But yeah, I mean, I'm sold, and I know a lot of people are going to be as well. So I'll obviously make sure we got all the links and everything on this video.
So $39.99 and lasts for life. What's
not to love?
No
Seriously,
brainer.
people, I'm in. But yeah, I mean, I've learned an absolute load tonight. I thought I was going to know everything, and I clearly know nothing. So it's nice to chat all things pelvic floor, and I'm going to be using my weights now religiously.
Good.
And I shall be reporting back.
I'll be texting you. Have you done them yet?
I will. I'm going to use them religiously, and I will be like, I'll keep a little diary.
Honestly, keep a little diary, and then you can see the improvements, because we forget how far we come sometimes.
Yeah.
And anything that we do, even running, we're like,
I'll be stalking you in like 20 years going, everything's still tickety boo.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
So I will pop all the links on. It has been great to chat to you, and
thank you.
Really appreciate you answering all our pelvic floor questions, because like I say, it is a subject that really comes up quite a lot in the group, and I think so much of what we know is what the media tells us and stuff, that it's normal and it just happens, and just you're a mum and you've just got to put up with it, and it's not the case. And I think the more of us know that that's not the case, then the better. So I really appreciate you chatting to us.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
I'm hoping we're going to have lots of badass mother runners on board now. Strong pelvic floors.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much, Bev.
Thank you so much. I will chat to you soon.
See you later. Bye-bye now.